Hi everyone, I'm Gina K from Gina K Designs and your host of StampTV. Today on StampTV, I'm going to show you how to use the MISTI tool and one of the stamps from the new Sending Love StampTV Kit. Let me show you the tools and products you need to do this card. First, you're going to need some cardstock, and the cardstock I'm using is the Gina K Designs Jelly Bean Green, some of the black Onyx, and some of the layering weight white. Then for stamps, I'm using the stamp set from the Sending Love StampTV Kit called Art from the Heart. And the image I'm going to use the MISTI tool is this pencil stamp. Now there's lots of great ways to use the MISTI, and I'm sure that you've seen lots of videos on how you can restamp an area and line it up perfectly so you don't get any shadowing and all kinds of other great things. But one of the things that I love to use my MISTI for is creating very evenly spaced images. So, for example, for this particular card, I want to stamp a whole row of pencils. And I want the pencils to be perfectly straight. So I'm going to place my pencil stamp about where I want the first pencil to be. Okay, and I have to actually flip it over so that the back of the pencil stamp is upwards. And I'm going to close the MISTI so that that stamp is now on the MISTI tool. Now because this is a very delicate little stamp, I am going to reposition it just a little bit to make sure that it's perfectly straight, but I know about where I want it on the tool. So, there we go. All right. So I'm going to do a test stamp first on a piece of scrap paper. So I'll just grab this piece right here. And then I'm going to ink up the stamp here that's on the MISTI. And I'm going to stamp that first image. Okay. So there, that's pretty good. That's pretty straight. So I think I'll leave it there, and I think I will use this piece of paper. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move my piece of cardstock. See how it's positioned right in this bottom right-hand corner? I'm going to move the cardstock up 1/4 inch. And then I'm going to ink up my stamp again on the MISTI and stamp again. Like that. Now, I'm going to move my cardstock up another 1/4 inch, ink up the pencil, and stamp. And as you can see, I'm getting very evenly spaced pencils. This is going to go up another 1/4 inch, ink up my stamp. And if you get any of the ink on the surface of the MISTI, like I just did, just take a little paper towel and wipe it off before you stamp. There we go. And I'm going to keep doing this all the way down the side of the card. So this is a great way to take any stamp that you have and create a border. It could be a border of hearts, it could be a border of flowers, it could be any kind of border, and get evenly spaced images. You can go every 1/4 inch, every 1/2 inch, depending on how big the stamp is. But you can see how easy that is. I just keep moving it up 1/4 inch at a time. I'll do a couple more here. I think this is just about the best invention ever. I'm so proud of Ileana, my sweet petunia. And now we carry the MISTI in our online store. We have lots of MISTIs on the way, too. It seems like every time we get them in, they sell out right away. But we just placed another huge order and have another whole batch of them coming in. Both the original MISTI, like this one, and the mini MISTI, which I love as well. I love that mini MISTI for stamping on the go. And the other thing that's nice about the MISTI tool is you can do a lot of mass production type of things where maybe you want to do two-step stamping. So you stamp the first part of a rose stamp, and then you stamp all of those first parts on maybe 6 or 7 or 8 cards, and then you go back and do the second part. And as long as you're lining that paper up in the same spot on your MISTI tool, you will continue to get perfect placement every time, and it makes mass production very, very simple. Because of the huge workspace on both the mini MISTI and the original MISTI, you can lay out full-blown patterns. You know, you can do flower arrangements and all kinds of things, have them all on the MISTI at one time, and then just stamp, and the whole thing is done at once. And if it doesn't stamp well, you can ink it up again and re-stamp it with no shadow. Okay, so that's a lot of pencils there, and you can see they're perfect. If I hold it this way, you can make a whole row of them going across your page like that. Then I want to add a little something to this. So I'm going to grab my Score Buddy, and I'm going to add, I'm going to find a line that's on the other side of that pencil there, like that. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of room for my greeting. And then I'm going to flip it over so that those indentations come out the front. But it's easier to do it first the other way so that you don't happen to score over anything that you've stamped. So you can see that little delicate edge there. And that gives me the perfect placement for my greeting. So let's use the MISTI for the greeting as well. All right. So I'm going to lay my piece of cardstock back in there. And then since this is a pencil stamp and I'm going to color it all in with different color markers, I'm going to use the greeting, "You Color My World." And we'll put that right over on this side. So see, you can really see where it's going to be on your card. You can make sure that it's nice and straight. And then grab the stamp with your MISTI, ink it up, clean off my mess there. And let's get a little more ink on that since I dropped the ink pad. And stamp. There we go. You Color My World. Now for these pencils, I am going to color them, and I'm going to use the Roy G. Biv method of coloring, where I'm going to start with a red marker. I have a Spectrum Noir marker here, CR8, and I'm going to start with red up here. I like the Spectrum Noir fine tip for these real intricate, delicate images. So we have red. Then we'll do some orange. We'll do OR2. Nothing like the rainbow. This would be a really nice quick card for the end of the year if your kids are still in school, like mine. And then yellow, CT3. Nice thank you card for a teacher. Or for anybody that's a friend of yours who loves art. DG2. That one kind of looks a little bit like the jelly bean green. So rather than using a more primary green, I use that one. And then blue is the BT7. Ooh, that's a nice bright blue. There we go. and violet, LV2, and then you can repeat that pattern again all the way down. And once you've colored in all your pencils, you can use a little bit of the Sakura Clear Stardust pen to add a little bit of sparkle to the top of each of the pencils. Or you can use a quickie glue pen and some loose glitter, or whatever kind of glitter you have, just to put a little bit of shimmer in there. There we go. It's flowing a little better. Sometimes you have to start it a little bit. It gets a little bit of a glittery crust on the edge, right on the end of the pen. So if you start it a little bit, that ink will flow a little better. And so there's a little bit of shimmer there. I don't know if you can see that shimmer at the top. And then this panel will get mounted onto the black onyx, and then the whole panel gets mounted on the jelly bean green. Now let me show you a finished card that I made. I colored it a little bit differently on this one. And then I used this little heart circle, and I cut that out with one of the Cheery Lynn Designs circle dies that we carry, and then a little scalloped one behind it. And then I colored the little lines around it with the Clear Stardust pen, so that's got a little shimmer too, like the pencils. And instead of doing just one line on this one, I went one pencil less and I did a double line. So that is one way that I love to use my MISTI stamping tool along with the Sending Love StampTV Kit. So there's my finished card project. I hope you've enjoyed today's StampTV video. Stay tuned to StampTV for more videos featuring the Sending Love StampTV Kit. And thanks so much for watching.